Hello everyone, Dawny Wanders here, and today I have wandered to the Spider Lake Trails in Waverley, Halifax County, Nova Scotia. Decided I'm going for a little snowshoe walk today, and as you can probably see behind me, this trail starts in a residential neighborhood in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, or actually Waverley, which is a small community just kind of on the outskirts or kind of blended into Dartmouth. The place that I'm headed today on this trail is called Spider Lake, and it's only about a 1 or just over 1 kilometer walk in and 1 back out. It's not a loop trail. It's a really cool shaped lake, and recently I've gotten pretty interested in how places get their names, and I couldn't really find a lot of information about Spider Lake or where that name came from. So my theory is that it's shaped like a spider, but I really don't know how it got the name Spider Lake. The goal today is to do an easy snowshoe. So it's pretty short, well-established trail. I figure that the trail would be pretty like punched down the way that it is now, because I know that a lot of people use this trail. So this is an easy snowshoe today, thankfully, because I have been snowshoeing quite a lot at work. So I'm an environmental specialist, and a lot of my job involves going to collect water samples in fairly remote places. Sometimes it's, a kilometer or 2 off of a main road. It's not super remote. But at this time of the year, it involves quite a lot of snowshoeing, which is awesome, but also works different parts of your body. Like when you're walking in snowshoes, your walk is just a little bit different, and walking in snow is a bit of a challenge, even in snowshoes. Like you still kind of plunge through a little bit, so it is a little bit trickier than just like normal walking on, a nice gravel path. Well, I've just arrived at the lake, and that was well under a 1 kilometer walk. Like I'm only at about 850 meters, but I'm here already. Super easy walk. So this is one little finger, or maybe one little leg of the spider that is Spider Lake. And I just checked on the All Trails map, and it looks like there's another little trail that I have to go back out just like 100 meters, and then I'll turn to the right. And there's another leg of the spider that I might be able to get to. I'm not sure how established that trail is. I didn't notice another trail on my way down here. But let's go see if I can find that. Now, the great thing about snowshoes when you're trying to beat a trail is that all the scrubby brush and trees and wet spots, mud, that's all covered up by snow. So I could potentially even just bushwhack my way over to another part of the lake, depending on the terrain, because it's a lot easier in snowshoes. And actually, look at this. I do believe that I have found the other little trail, hopefully. Let's see where it takes us. So I think this is the trail. I have found the trail, I believe, to the other part of the lake, the other leg of the lake. And it's interesting, there's not really any footsteps here, but there is kind of almost a perfectly square trail cut through the snow here. So I suspect that whoever came through here was on snowshoes like me. Because when you snowshoe, you do end up leaving almost like a very perfectly square trail behind you. Like square on either side, I guess. Here's what I mean when I say that walking in snow that hasn't been disturbed can be a little bit more challenging. If you check out my snowshoes, they're mostly on top of the snow, but they are kind of plunging through a little bit on this part of the trail that doesn't really look like it's been used too much. So it's not as bad as if I was walking with no snowshoes and like my whole foot was plunging in the snow, but it definitely works a different type of muscle. It's almost like when you're walking on a beach in the sand. Like it's those muscles that you're using that you can definitely feel the burn, especially going uphill like I am right now. The section of the trail between the two legs of Spider Lake, that was quite challenging, but it was only maybe 400 meters. And I'm already at this other leg, which is just a little bit west of the first one that I visited. I'm really high up here. I'm surprised how hilly it is. So I'm gonna try and take my time going down. I made it to this leg of Spider Lake. I'm calling them legs just because it's called Spider Lake, so I'm thinking of it as like a spider with legs. Normally, I guess I would call it like a finger of a lake or an inlet. That was a hard walk. I'm glad it was short. It's really steep. I don't know if you can, if the camera does it justice to just how steep it is, but here I am on the side of the lake. I've got the place all to myself. I'm set up here on the side of the lake. Got my cup of tea. I was gonna bring my stove today, but I just kind of got lazy and decided to just make a thermos of tea. It's so much easier than waiting for water to boil on a windy day like this. But I do love having like a snack or something to consume when I'm hiking. Everything tastes better when you're outside. So I'm gonna sit here in the wind. It is a little cool. I just took my snowshoes off and I'm actually using them as my sit pad today. I didn't bring a sit pad. And I'm a little bit nervous because I don't want to plunge through the snow. Not that anything bad would happen, it's just inconvenient and awkward to get out of. But I'm pretty sure I'm sitting like on the top of bushes, and bushes, when they have snow on them, do tend to collapse. So I don't really want to plunge through and try and like climb my way out. If I do, I do. So yeah, so I'm using the snowshoes as a stool and a footstool today. So I'm just gonna drink some tea and then head back out to the trailhead. Just wandering here, let's have a look. So that walk so far has been 1.7 kilometers, so it'll be just over 3 by the time I get out to the car. I had a little break, cooled off. Funnily enough, it is about 0 degrees today, but feels much colder with the wind. But of course, walking through this terrain, and I'm pretty bundled up, I was getting really sweaty by the time I got down there to the lake. So I actually had a nice little rest, a cool off, some hot tea. Even though I was pretty warm, that tea was still really delicious. And now I'm gonna start trekking back out to first the other part of the lake, the other leg of the Spider, and then out to the car. I love snowshoeing. I just think it's such a fun and neat way to get around. And winters in Nova Scotia are very short. We don't typically get tons of snow. So I always find it just a little bit of a treat to get out on snowshoes. If you're thinking about trying snowshoes, you should definitely do it. There's no special skills required. It's not like skiing, like you don't need a lesson or anything. Once you get the snowshoes on, you just walk. It really is that simple. And it is really fun. Also, if you're thinking about trying snowshoeing, there's a couple of ways that you can try it without buying it, as in you don't have to buy snowshoes to try it. A lot of city parks and recs departments have them either to borrow for the day, or you can rent them for a very, very low cost, like a couple of dollars. It's really inexpensive, or can be. So that's one way you could try. A lot of public libraries offer them to borrow, just like borrowing a book. But I suspect that the loan period is probably shorter, but I don't know. You'd have to check with your local library. And of course, the other way, if you're interested, is reach out to a friend and see if you can borrow their snowshoes. You don't have to go super far to really get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Today, I will have snowshoed about 3 kilometers, which is not a super long walk. But if even that feels too long, like just take them out for a short rip around your local baseball field or golf course, or, you know, some kind of place like that where you can just like give them a try. They really are a lot of fun. Well, that was a great little snowshoe hike into Spider Lake. That trip out, when I wasn't dawdling, just kind of hiking without stopping for anything, took me about half an hour. And the whole thing was just under 3 kilometers. So a really pleasant little snowshoe on a very pleasant, if not a little windy day. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for watching, and Dawny Wanders. We'll see you in the next one.